Starting in 15th, 2002 World 100 champion out of Muscatine, Iowa. In the Daufeld Transport McDonald's J&J Steel 15B, Brian Burkhofer. Starting in position number 14, out of Union, Kentucky, in his Lanigan Autosports, Gotta Race, Extreme Graphics 29, the Bluegrass Bandit, Darrell Lanigan. Going 13th, your Young Oil Corporation Fast Qualifier out of Newport, Tennessee. In the Gant Real Estate Enterprises Reese Monuments, car number 20, the Newport Nightmare, Jimmy Owens. Going 12th, out of Batesville, Arkansas, in the Garrett Racing Stuckey Enterprises Davison Transport GRT number 88, it's the Batesville Bullet, Wendell Wallace. On the front row, starting second, three-time World 100 winner out of Mooresburg, Tennessee. In the Miller Brothers Cole Hawkeye Trucking All-Star Performance Bloomquist chassis number 0, the Voodoo Child, Scott Bloomquist. And leading this field out of turn number 4, your pole sitter out of Morristown, Tennessee, the S&S Millwright Millar Powder Coating Swaggerty's Farm Lakeway Auto car number 44, the Big Buck Shannon Buckingham. We're going to turn it over down to James Essex.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man who built Eldora Speedway, the one and only Earl Bolus.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a few split seconds, you will hear the most beautiful sound echoed through this valley there ever was. The dirt late models. Gentlemen, start your engines.
Shannon Buckingham, Scott Bloomquist side by side, and they are now going to get into that familiar formation. Race fans, on your feet, it's time to send them off. Everybody up. Turn number 3, they're coming your way first. Eldora Speedway. For the 37th time, the best late model drivers in the country are going 100 laps. Here they come into turn 3, 4 wide to salute you. Let's wave them off Rossburg, Ohio style. Turn number 3, here they come. Wave them off as they come on by. They're coming your way. Turn number 4, let's send them off in style. 4 wide, the World 100. Front stretch, show them how it's done. As they come out of turn number 4, let them hear it. Let's wave to them and send them off as this 37th annual World 100 field comes 4 wide. Turn 1 and 2, they're coming your way. Send them off as they come by. Wish your favorite driver good luck, because now they break off in rows of 2, 14 rows deep. It ends with the National Dirt Late Model Hall of Fame. The 1-lap signal has been given. The World 100 is set to take green James Essex next time around. The Big Buck Shannon Buckingham and Black Sunshine Scott Bloomquist.
Will someone shock the world of dirt late model racing this afternoon? Shannon Buckingham, Wayne Chin, Randy Weaver, their first ever starts in the World 100. The dirt tracks dominator outside of row 1, trying to become the second 4-time winner of the World 100. Rick Eshelman, make the call. We'll bring him around turn 4.
They are bunched up side by side. Everybody tucking in behind the front row. Shannon Buckingham, Scott Bloomquist. They roll out of 4. Rick Foley throws the double greens, and the World 100 is underway. They storm off into turns 1 and 2. Bloomquist has the lead and a gaggle behind him. Buckingham goes to second. Wayne Chin grabs third. Randy Weaver fourth. King Concordi battling with Matt Miller for fifth. Lap number 1 goes to the Voodoo Child, James.
Let's see if we can get everybody across the start finish line to get 1 lap scored. It looks good, we will. It's Bloomquist. It's already 5 or 6 car lengths out in front. Buckingham in second, Shin third, then Cordy, and on the inside, here comes Jimmy Owens up to 5th already, Rick.
Jimmy Owens on the move. King Kong Cordy slide job in turn 4, so Wayne Chin in his hip pocket. Owens to the inside, looking to go 3 wide.
Jimmy Owens making a bit early in this race. He's trying to get that 3rd spot as he steps on that accelerator, that Cornet powered forward, and he and Cordy dueling outside beside it to turn 3, Rick.
Well, take a look at Josh Richards. Has already passed 8 drivers after starting in the 27th spot. So he is moving up in a hurry, trying to show that 2006 was no fluke.
Scott Bloomquist now continues to lead into turn number 3.
Trouble in turn 1. Josh Richards gets turned around. Up in the wall, Steve Shaver, Brady Smith, the one of Vic Hill, the 41 of Brad Need, and we've got caution.
Something happens to him, and Josh Richards, who nearly pulled off the win a year ago here, spinning in turn 2 and in a big mess, and Steve Shaver about went over on his lid, Rick.
Single file order, nose to tail on the restart, 3 and 97 to go. Black Sunshine bringing them out of turn number 4, looking for green. It's out, we're back underway. Off into turn number 1, Scott Bloomquist will take the field. Owens looking to the inside of Shannon Buckingham. Francis in a battle with Randy King Kong Cordy. They'll all get back in line. James in turn 3, but it's Owens on the move.
Francis in that Valvoline rocket disposes of Chin down to the top 5. Francis hugs the nub out of turn 4. Another lap in, Bloomquist down in front. Jimmy Owens now turn 2. A bid for 2nd spot, Rick Eshelman.
So Jimmy Owens trying to grab the 2nd spot away. James Bloomquist, the only driver running center groove. Everybody else opting for high side or low side. Some drivers like it on the hub, others like it up by the concrete.
Owens slides his number 20 in the 2nd spot. Buckingham 3rd, Cordy 4th. Here comes Francis trying to get around Cordy. Francis and Cordy drag race down the back straightaway. Cordy by a car length, then we have Chin and Marlar, and Wendell Wallace has gotten around Matt Miller.
So the top 5 scream off of turn 4. Jimmy Owens now applying pressure to his teammate Scott Bloomquist. To the inside goes Owens. To the high side goes Bloomer. Buckingham got a run off turn 2. He grabbed 3rd away from King Kong.
Good run so far by Randy Cordy, the defending UMP national champion. Francis will try the inside route again. Francis will slide up in front of Cordy. Francis back in the 4th spot, Rick.
So as the field goes off into 1 and 2, again Owens applying pressure. Steve Francis within 2 car lengths of Shannon Buckingham. Up front, Owens taking a look for the lead. He may make a bid right here in turn 4.
He does. Slide job in front of the leader at the line, and Bloomquist maintains the lead as they go back and forth. 8 in the books, Rick.
That was a ballet at 120 miles an hour right there. Scott said, go ahead and slide by. I'll just dance right along underneath you at the start-finish line. So Owens says, let's try it again. Same verse, 2nd as the 1st, and out of turn number 4, Bloomquist again holding the lead by a half a car.
And Francis is going into 3rd in car 15 now. Francis now, he'll try to join the top 2. Meanwhile, Owens around Bloomquist down the back straightaway. And Buckingham is 4th, 5th is Cordy, 6th is Chin, 7th Marlar, and Wallace goes to the inside of the bin, and then you have Chris Madden.
Wendell Wallace, one of those drivers that knows slick track racing as well as anybody, picked up his 3rd Show Me 100, is starting to make his presence felt as he works his way towards the top 5. But it's Jimmy Owens right now walking away from Scott Bloomquist. Wallace will go by Mike Marlar and grab the number 7 spot.
Jimmy Owens will lead another lap, 11 laps scored. Scott Bloomquist maintains 2nd, so team 0. 1st and 2nd, Steve Francis now trying to reel in Bloomquist. And meanwhile, Cordy and Buckingham going at it. Cordy down the back straightaway, and Buckingham will battle back on the inside, Rick.
So they'll go side by side in turn number 3. Buckingham underneath Cordy. Cordy right up by the cushion out of 4. High side momentum will keep Randy Cordy in that spot. So it's Scott Bloomquist trying to hold off Francis now for 2nd as the Colonel is closing the gap on the 3-time winner.
And look who's hugging the bottom of that racetrack down the back straightaway. That car, City Rayburn of Shannon Babb. He started in 20th. He is now inside the top 10, Rick Eshelman.
How many times have we seen Shannon Babb hug the hub of a racetrack and work his way from the back to the front? Shannon Babb has been picking him off since the start. Babb starting in 18th position is working his way towards the top 5, but up front It's the Newport Nightmare Jimmy Owens, who can now see the rear deck lid of Ray Cook.
About 3 or 4 more laps. We'll be in some traffic as we pick up the tail end of the field. Francis trying to stay close to Bloomquist down the back straightaway. Randy Corley running very impressively in fourth. And meanwhile, here comes the sniper in on the young buck, Chin and Buckingham. That is the battle for fifth spot at a turn 4.
And Wayne Chin will pull the slide job in front of Shannon Buckingham. So Wayne Chin makes the move. Shannon Babb going to work down the front stretch on Wendell Wallace. Babb can't get any closer to the wall than he is right now, as Shannon Babb, again, James, is making his presence felt.
Down the back straightaway, he works on Wendell Wallace, Buckingham and Chin just in front of them. In Wayne Chin running in the fifth spot in car number 1. The battle for 6 right here, Buckingham, Babb, and Cordy.
And Matt Miller in car 7 is went to the pit area. Matt Miller in car 7 in the pit area, so he is out of this event. Matt Miller out of the event, and the leaders are going to be dancing with lap traffic, but the caution flag will come out just as Jimmy Owens had caught Ray Cook. Little mechanical. If it all comes together, I'll be on the stage after 100 laps. So green flag is back out to the field. Everybody goes to work. Steve Francis, he'll punch the time clock and see if he can't take over the number 1 spot. Here comes Babby's up to 5th. Francis to the outside of Owens. Babb on the move.
Good battle up front. Steve Francis trying to break his bad luck string here at Eldora. A strong second right now. To the inside. New leader, Steve Francis in turn 2, Rick Eshelman.
Well, the Kentucky Colonel wanting this one bad. His birthday is tomorrow. He'd love to have $40,000 in his birthday card. Let's see if it happens, if he can hold off this field. A long way to go, but the Colonel will lead lap number 18.
Jimmy Owens still runs in second. Al Bloomquist is third. Fourth runs Corley. Fifth is Babb. Again, Shannon Babb still hugging that bottom. And another driver coming up through the field is that 99, Donnie Moran, on the move as well.
Donnie Moran, the $1 million man, working his magic around Eldora Speedway. He wants to join Billy Moyer as the only 5-time World 100 winners. But Moran, who started in the number 8 spot, backslid a little, James, and now has found his groove.
Was outside the top 10. Meanwhile, up front, Francis in the middle groove. Owens hugs the bottom out of turn 4. Rocket at a Bloomquist battling it out. Scott Bloomquist third. Babb still trying to get around fellow Illini driver Randy Corley as they go into 1.
If this became a fuel mileage race, Shannon Babb would win in a landslide. He is taking the shortest way around Eldora Speedway, has picked up 13 spots in the process, continues to save on the race car as Matt Miller comes back out. But Shannon Babb is managing his tires, but he's still moving forward.
Well, another driver, get a big shout out to that number 1 car, his first World 100. Yeah, Wayne Chin down the back straightaway now. Chin trying to get the 5th spot from Babb. And then you have Wallace, Moran, Lanigan, and Smokey Madden.
So Matt Miller 4 laps off the pace as Steve Francis has a rear view mirror full of Jimmy Owens. Just 2 car lengths separating the first and second place drivers. James, you gotta wonder, you've seen Scott Bloomquist in long distance races. He'll get as far back as a half a track behind the leader, but at about lap 75, something seems to click and Scott Bloomquist is right there for the win.
Well, he's just biding his time right now. He's probably thinking it's Francis and Owens using up their tires too early in this race. There's no gamble on tires. It's all 40s, but will that Hoosier tread hold out here on this track?
Well, we're going to find out as we approach the 1/4 of the way mark next time by. It'll be 25 laps in the books. Randy Cordy flexing a little muscle in turn 2, but he'll be repelled back by Scott Bloomquist. Wayne Chin getting a run on Shannon Babb. 25 in the books, James, 75 to go.
Wayne Chin just a handful, if just maybe 1 or 2 100-lap races in his career he has ever run in. And right now he's giving Babb all he wants. Cordy all over Bloomquist. But right now it's all Steve Francis and Jimmy Owens, the top 2 spots.
They continue to set the pace around Eldora's half-mile high banks. Steve Francis down the front chute, 7 car lengths ahead of second place Jimmy Owens. It won't be long and the Kentucky Colonel will be forced to deal with lap traffic if we stay under green. So we'll keep our eyes on Francis as he closes the gap. But Wayne Chin, you called it, James. Wayne Chin having a stellar run right now. And Chin continuing to impress the Eldora Speedway crowd.
And a couple other cars trying to come to the back here. Here comes Dennis Herb Jr., the Summer Nationals champion, moving up. Also Michael England, who started back in the 25th starting spot in that D&D Dairy 5E car. He and Billy Drake trying to make their way into the top 10, Rick.
And Billy Drake started 24th, just one row ahead of him. So a lot of the back markers, James, when we started this event, have seemed to found their way up towards the top 10. Question is, once they get up there, can they do anything with the top 5 cars right now?
Well, Shannon Babb made his way quickly to that 5th spot from 18th, but he has stayed in that spot ever since the restart. Wayne Chin giving all he wants to on the outside as those pair of Rayburns enter turn 1. Meanwhile, Cordy and on Bloomquist in 2.
Randy Cordy giving Scott Bloomquist all kinds of fits. Shannon Babb and Wayne Chin have been battling for the number 5 spot lap after lap, but Darrell Lanigan, Wendell Wallace, and Donnie Moran are closing in on that battle for 5th.
2 drivers getting their Eldora initiation in this race. Shannon Buckingham and Randy Weaver started up front. You see they have slipped back, but they're getting some valuable laps for future races.
Well, now Darrell Lanigan is starting to show that he may have something for this battle as he's going to thread the needle of Shannon Babb and Wayne Chin. So the 2003 Dirt Late Model Dream winner, Darrell Lanigan, is starting to come to life. Cordy around Bloomquist, but Scott Bloomquist high side momentum, and he'll hold on to the 3rd spot.
Steve Francis, that custom-powered Valvoline entry down the main straightaway in front, trying to get his 2nd World Winner win. Meanwhile, Jimmy Owens is in 2nd, a lap car. Matt Miller's 5 laps down now. Down the back straightaway as Francis moves in on Ray Cook.
As the leaders now are right on the rear of heavy lap traffic. Ray Cook about to go a lap in arrears to the leader, Steve Francis. Francis opting for the bottom of the racetrack as the lap cars are staying up high. Jimmy Owens keeps him in his sights. Randy Cordy will not go away from Scott Bloomquist. Lanigan around Babb. Darrell Lanigan's picked up 5th.
Well, Babb moved up off the bottom shelf, and now here comes Wayne Chin now. Chin has a run on Babb, and Chin will go in front of Babb for position, and here comes behind them Wendell Wallace and Donnie Miranda to turn 1, Rick.
So these guys have been watching the battle take place in front of them. They decided they wanted to have a little fun as well. And the 29 of Lanigan goes to the number 4 position. So Darrell Lanigan starting his assault. He started 14th, James. He's picked up 10 spots.
35 down, 65 to go. Lanigan and on Bloomquist. Out of turn 2, and Darrell Lanigan goes around Scott Bloomquist. Rick out of turn 2. Lanigan on the move.
Darrell Lanigan continuing to impress as we are at lap number 36, 64 to go. Francis driving a very conservative but still aggressive race. Takes his time with the lap cars but gets by him. Cordy around Bloomquist. Now Scott Bloomquist goes back to work on him. Shannon Babb is falling off the pace in a hurry.
And meanwhile, Cordy around Bloomquist. Here comes Chin. Here comes Wendell Wallace. Here comes Moran. Babb still hugging the bottom shelf. Good racing going on right here. But up front, Francis down the back straightaway. But he's in heavy traffic. And Owens now, nobody between himself and Francis.
Jimmy Owens clears Dan Schleeper, running in the number 2 spot as Francis goes to work on Brady Smith. Steve Francis picking the low line in turn number 1, trying to put Smith in his hip pocket. He'll do it out of turn number 2. So Brady Smith now separating the leader, Steve Francis, from 2nd place, Jimmy Owens.
And you have 3 lap cars between Owens and the 3rd place running Darrell Lanigan. 4th is Cordy, 5th is Chin, 6th is Wallace. Bloomquist is faded to 7th, Babb 8th, Moran 9th, and Chris Madden is up to 10th with Herb running in 11th.
12th place is Shannon Buckingham, then it's Billy Drake 13th, Randy Weaver 14th, Michael England 15th, 16th place is Jeep Van Wormer, 17th will be Josh Richards, Jason Fager 18th, Mike Marlar 19th, Rick Eckert 20th, last car on the lead lap.
The sun breaks through. It's a bright Sunday afternoon at Eldora Speedway. Steve Francis down the back straightaway, moves behind the GRT of Rick Eckert. Now Owens has Need and Brady Smith between him. Owens will try the slide on the inside. Lanigan, meanwhile, trying to stay clear of Cordy. And here comes Cordy back in 7th.
And that time out of turn number 4, Jimmy Owens got a little crossed up, dealing with Brady Smith, trying to get around that lap car. So Jimmy Owens has now got his sights set once again on Francis, who deals with Rick Eckert in 3.
Jimmy Owens trying to keep that blue and white Valvoline 15 in his sights. Francis will put a lap on Eckert down the straightaway. Here's Owens, he's second. Lanigan in 29 is third. Fourth is Cordy, fifth Shin, sixth Wallace. Babb still seventh now, and Bloomquist has faded to eighth, our early race leader.
Well, Scott Bloomquist strong early, now finds himself just inside the top 10. Leader Steve Francis continuing to set a blistering pace, James. You know they're all on the 40s. Will it hold up for these final 57 laps? The Colonel had to work hard to get up front. Now he's got to work hard to protect the lead.
7 to go till Rick Foley's cross flags here in the World 100. Steve Francis continues to lead out of turn 4. Jimmy Owens now. He tries to get around Rick Eckert and Mike Marlar. Meanwhile, the battle right here continues. Lanigan several car lengths behind Owens. And you have Cordy, Chin, and Babb and Wallace going at it into turn number 1.
So now it's up to Jimmy Owens to work the lap car of Rick Eckert. Owens will dive underneath him as Francis battling with Jason Fager. Jimmy Owens will clear Rick Eckert again. Another lap car separating Francis from Owens. Steve Francis is trying to run away and hide James and put as many lap cars in front of Owens as he can, and right now he's successful at it.
Around first-time World 100 participant Jason Fager and Bob Pierce, number 25. And meanwhile, Owens will slide in on Marlar. Owens, nice courtesy move by Mike Marlar, backed off, led Owens around him.
Mike Marlar knows what it means to win big races. He won the Magnolia State 100 in Columbus, Mississippi a few years ago, so he understands what it means to these drivers to win. He knows he doesn't have a shot at victory lane, so he gave the courtesy to Steve Francis. A nice move by Marlar to allow this race to stay under green.
Meanwhile, Shannon Babb trying to work his way back up there. He's gotten around Wallace. He's in on Wayne Shannon to 1. Shannon Babb has picked it back up. You talked about a while ago about Scott Bloomquist dropping back. I don't think he meant to drop back this far and then make a run late in a race, because right now we're only 3 shy of the halfway mark.
Well, Randy Weaver, the Dream Weaver, off the pace on the bottom of the speedway. Didn't sound good as he came by that time. He's still under power, but he is slowing down rapidly, so Randy Weaver may be a casualty here shortly.
Meanwhile, Steve Francis, he'll exit turn 4 in that Valvoline number 15. He brings it to the line. Weaver now still running away off the pace now. Meanwhile, Jimmy Owens, he'll go around Weaver. He'll have Fager in front of him. If he can get around Fager, he'll have a clear track to try to catch Francis.
Well, Darrell Lanigan made his way up to third and has since not been able to close the gap on Jimmy Owens. Take a look at fourth place. Randy Cordy still strong. Wayne Chin, very impressive in the number 5 spot. Shannon Babb and Wendell Wallace battle for 6 as Shannon Babb won't go away, but he's more than a half a track behind the leader, Steve Francis.
50 down and 50 to go. Steve Francis, he'll click off another lap. Give him lap 51. Jimmy Owens running in second. Third is Darrell Lanigan. Fourth, Randy Cordy. Fifth is Wayne Shin. Sixth is Wendell Wallace. Seventh, Shannon Babb. Eighth, Scott Bloomquist. Ninth is Donnie Moran. Running at 10th is the 44 of Chris Madden.
11th place, Dennis Erb Jr. Gene Van Wormer 12th. Shannon Buckingham 13th. Billy Drake 14th. Michael England 15th. Now just 15 cars, James, on the lead lap.
As Francis has gotten around Josh Richards. Josh Richards ran so well here a year ago. He will not win this year. Meanwhile, Francis, he's in a rocket chassis, continues to hold the lead. Jimmy Owens at that Bloomquist chassis, brings it out of turn 4, and several car lengths back is Darrell Lanigan.
Well, 2 cars all of a sudden coming to life, those being Wendell Wallace in 88, Wayne Chin in 1. They have caught Randy King Kong Cordy, and they are in the process of going around Shannon Babb. So 2 surprises in the field right now, just maybe Wayne Chin and the 88 of Wendell Wallace. As Wallace is coming to life, they both get around Babb and they set their sights on King Kong.
Randy Cordy, that circle 7, Gerster plumbing entry. You see some quarter panel damage on that 7 as he goes into turn number 1. And we got Scott Bloomquist spins on the front stretch, Rick Eshelman.
Scott Bloomquist, uncharacteristically, James, out of turn number 4, getting crossed up, brought out the yellow flag, so now the 3-time champion goes to the tail of the lead lap, and he's going pit side. exactly is being serviced on Ray Cook's 53 Arville Cook Property Investments, A-plus Moving and Storage, Fairway Ford, Masters.
6th is Wayne Chin, 7th is Shannon Babb, 8th Donnie Moran, 9th Dennis Erb Jr., and Jeep Van Wormer now makes his first appearance in the top 10, Rick Eshelman.
Mike Marlar, Randy Weaver, and Josh Richards will rejoin this battle as they go back to work. Jimmy Owens trying to keep pace with Steve Francis. Here comes Darrell Lanigan for second. Lanigan got a good run off turn 2, sets his sights now on the 20 of Owens as Eckert, who is in the pits, making his down pit road. He's going to go possibly a lap down as everybody coming out of the pit area at once.
Keep an eye on Bloomquist for that rest. Brand new right rear Hoosier on his car. Meanwhile, Lanigan trying to stay with Owens down the back straightaway. How about the sniper? Wayne Chin is going to 4th in car number 1, Rick Eshelman.
Well, Wayne Chin knows Eldora Speedway quite well as he runs the Sunoco American Late Model Series races here. And Wayne Chin, no stranger to Eldora Speedway, having a great run as he got around King Kong. So Wayne Chin now sitting in the number 4 spot. Cordy 5th, here comes Wendell Wallace, he'll take 6 from Babb.
Then you have Babb in 7th, Moran in 8th, Dennis Erb Jr., Jeep Van Wormer side by side, Madden. They're trying to go 3 wide. That is for the 8th spot. Meanwhile, down the back straightaway, Steve Francis now. Jimmy Owens, it's about 5-6 car lengths the advantage for Francis, then 3 car lengths behind is Lanigan.
Look at the 3-wide battle between Dennis Erb Jr., Jeep Van Wormer, and the 44 of Chris Madden. They're going at it tooth and nail. Babb relentless on the bottom. Like a Picassomus in the aquarium. He is eating good in the neighborhood in the bottom.
Trying to get that 5th spot down the back straightaway on Cordy. Cordy has the momentum on the top shelf. Meanwhile, Wayne Chin trying to close in that 1 car. Ray Cook again is going pit side, Rick.
Well, good thing for Ray Cook he wasn't right in front of Shannon Babb, because that's Shannon Babb's line he took into the pit area. Babb can't get any closer to the wall without having white paint on the left side of his race car. He's happy down there. He'll bring it up topside. Dan Schleeper in the pits in the number 9.
Meanwhile, Team Zero, the leader. Meanwhile, the Team Zero leader, Scott Bloomquist, coming out of turn number 4 now, trying to get around another Team Zero driver, Chris Madden. He gets around him, and Bloomquist slowly but surely, but the front of the field getting away from him.
Fresh tire on the Scott Bloomquist machine. We'll see if it pays off. As Steve Francis, the leader, goes into turns 1 and 2. Jimmy Owens 2nd, Darrell Lanigan 3rd. The 1 of Wayne Chin is 4th. The 7 of Randy Cordy 5th. Then it's Wendell Wallace now taking 6 from Babb. That'll put him to 7th. Van Wormer 8th. Donnie Moran 9th. Dennis Erb Jr. 10th. Bloomquist 11th. Now takes 10th. 12th is Madden. And 13th, Michael England. And I do believe that may be all the cars on the lead lap.
Jeep Van Wormer started back in the inside of row number 12. He goes down the back straightaway in that Bayline fire protection Mastersville, and Van Wormer disposes of Babb. Van Wormer up another spot, and that high riding tactics coming out of turn 4, Rick.
Same exact driving style he used in 2006 here at the World 100. Only difference is he used the wall as a cushion, sparked off it countless times. That kind of led to his demise of winning last year's World 100. Right back at it again. Same story, different year.
Very little cushion up there this afternoon, though. 64 laps in the books. Francis will close behind Richards. Now, as Francis dips to the inside, Francis will slide on Richards, and he'll get around Josh, and here comes Owens and Lanigan.
So Steve Francis picking up where he left off. 65 in the books, 35 to go. Steve Francis has the lap car. Josh Richards ahead of him. Jimmy Owens keeping pace. Darrell Lanigan still with hopes. And how about Wayne Chin still in the top 5, as is Randy Cordy.
Wayne Chin doing the Rayburn crowd proud. The only Rayburn up there right now in the top 5. Meanwhile, here comes Team Zero, Scott Bloomquist. He's in on the $1 Million Man, Donnie Moran off the turn 4. Babb will lead. Moran and Bloomquist to the line. Another lap in the books. 66 down, Rick. 34 to go.
And just about a half a track lead for Steve Francis over Scott Bloomquist, who's trying to make his way back up forward. Francis has clear sailing once he gets around Matt Miller for a few circuits, so this may give the Colonel a chance to relax just for a moment, as Jimmy Owens having all kinds of problems with the lap car of Josh Richards.
Well, he slid up in front of me, tried to sliding back. And Jimmy on the inside. Meanwhile, Lanigan brings it out of turn number 4. Darrell Lanigan, that GottaRace.com rocket now. He'll close on Owens, the battle for second into 1.
Jimmy Owens once again will get around Josh Richards. That allows Darrell Lanigan to close the gap. Oh, and Jeep Van Wormer caught the wall. So he has right rear spoiler damage now. And for the second year in a row, the car who is in contention to try and pick this race up has again hit the wall.
But he's still pedal to the metal. He goes back around Wendell Wallace. Coming up on a 30 lap to go. Steve Francis leads it at turn 3. Meanwhile, Matt Miller off the pace. He was several laps down. He'll go pit side of that Mooring Motorsports Masters build. Meanwhile, Owens, it's clear between him and Francis for the lead, Rick.
So with Matt Miller retiring back to the pit area, we pick it up with Steve Francis. Taking a look at Shannon Buckingham. Even though, James, he's not on the lead lap, Shannon Buckingham giving it a great run here at Eldora Speedway. He stayed out of trouble all race long.
Good battle back here in the West. Van Wormer, here's a good race right here. Cordy Van Wormer and Wendell Wallace. Meanwhile, again, a tip of the cap to that number 1 car. Wayne Chen down to turn 2 down the back straightaway. He is running in 4th place.
Jeep Van Wormer back in the hunt. He'll go to work on Randy Cordy in turn number 3. Wendell Wallace gets underneath Jeep Van Wormer. Scott Bloomquist to the outside of Shannon Babb, so some good side-by-side racing behind the leaders.
Francis now alongside Shannon Buckingham at a turn 3. Buckingham sees Francis there, backs out of the accelerator. Francis will clear Buckingham. Meanwhile, Jimmy Owens trying to hug that bottom shelf out of turn 4. 73 laps in the book in the 37th World 100.
So as the laps continue to click off, Steve Francis has set a torrid pace since he grabbed the lead. He's kept Jimmy Owens at bay. Darrell Lanigan has not been able to close the gap on Owens. Van Wormer just getting passed by Wendell Wallace once again. Those 3 cars of Randy Cordy, Wendell Wallace, and Jeep Van Wormer slicing and dicing every lap around Eldora.
70 laps, 75 coming up. Meanwhile, Jimmy Owens now picks up the pace a little bit. Here comes Jimmy Owens, Rick Eshelman. He'll close the 4 car lengths on Francis out of 4.
And Steve Francis decided maybe I better get on the bottom of the racetrack and try and conserve a little bit. It may cost him, as Owens has been doing that, James, for the last 20 laps. Owens may have a little bit left for the 15 of Steve Francis.
Meanwhile, Darrell Lanigan trying to close in 29. Wayne Chen is 4th, Cordy is 5th, 6th is Wallace, 7th is Van Wormer, Bloomquist back to 8th, 9th Moran, 10th runs Shannon Babb, 11th is Herb, 12th is Madden, 13th is Billy Drake, and 14th on the final lap, lead lap, is Michael England.
So the Colonel working in turn 3 all by himself. Darrell Lanigan trying to close the gap on Owens. Owens, James, has made a ton of real estate up on Steve Francis. We may be seeing Jimmy Owens saving the best for last, as he was the Young Oil Corporation fast qualifier, and he's showing right now that he's still got a lot left in the tank.
4-time UMP National Modified Champion now. He'll go to that inside route. He'll follow in Francis at tire tracks out at turn 4. Meanwhile, Lanigan, he's not out of it yet, Rick Eshelman. He's still got a shot as he heads into turn 1.
Darrell Lanigan keeping pace with the top 2 drivers. Definitely not out of the question. Wayne Chen remains in the top 5. Randy Cordy, Wendell Wallace, Jeep Van Wormer, what can you say? They switch positions every corner. Now it's Wallace getting around Cordy.
Here comes Scott Bloomquist from the back after changing a tire. He'll close on Van Wormer. Meanwhile, those drivers are exactly a half a lap behind Steve Francis. Meanwhile, Francis now will get behind England. Here comes Jimmy Owens. He'll follow into turn 3. They'll exit turn 4. 20 laps to go in the World 100, Rick Eshelman.
Time running out on Jimmy Owens, but he knows he's got something left for Francis. Francis trying to put the lap car, Michael England, between himself and Owens. Owens says, nothing doing. He goes right behind him. So now Steve Francis, a 2-car length, making a 1-car length lead in turn number 4. Owens is coming on.
Would you say business is picking up front? I'm telling you right now, here comes Jimmy Owens on the inside of Steve Francis for the lead at turn 2, Rick.
Oh, and Steve Francis holds him off. He'll shut the door out of 2. Right back to work goes Jimmy Owens. He has got the bottom hugged down along with Steve Francis. Something's got to give up front. Francis is going to reach lap traffic. Could the race be won right here? As Marlar in the wall in 2, but keeps going.
18 laps to go in the World 100 now. It's all about momentum now. Owens picks it back up now. He made a run at him a couple laps ago. He'll close it at turn 3. Owens now, it's 2 car lengths behind Francis. Out at turn 4, Owens to the inside, Rick Eshelman.
Still can't make it happen out of turn 4. So now he'll step to the top of the ladder. It won't work for him either. Owens changing lines in every corner, trying to find that one advantage to get him around Steve Francis and get to victory lane. 84 laps go in the book, 16 to go this time by. Owens again with a bid to the inside.
Steve Francis leads into 1, 16 to go. Meanwhile, Darrell Lanigan is still 3rd, Wayne Shin 4th. 5th runs Wendell Wallace down the back straightaway, and we're going to have some traffic coming up for the leaders. Francis and Bloom, and here comes Owens on the inside. Francis slipped up a little bit. Jimmy Owens on the inside, Rick.
Francis opened up the door, but Owens couldn't walk through the threshold. So right again, he'll get right back in the tire tracks. Now dive to the bottom of the kernel. Owens making a bid, but comes up short. So Jimmy Owens throwing everything but the kitchen sink at Steve Francis. 14 to go when they cross the stripe.
Darrell Lanigan, and is he too far back? He's about 12, 13 car lengths behind the bountiful lead right here. Meanwhile, they headed to turn number 1. Francis, here comes Jimmy Owens on the inside, slides off the lead, and Owens takes the lead, but Francis will battle back down the back straightaway, and that's a half a car length by Francis into 3.
Jimmy Owens made the move, but Francis had the patience. He grabs the lead again as they go into turn 4. Francis up the banking. Here comes Owens across the line. Give it to Jimmy Owens by a nose.
13 to go. They'll have heavy traffic here in a half a lap. Owens and Francis throwing sliders on each other down the back straightaway. Meanwhile, Darrell Lanigan trying to catch him.
So Francis will step to the outside of Owens. Owens has the preferred low line, Jimmy Owens. Now putting a couple car lengths between himself and Steve Francis. Owens will now reach lap traffic first.
This could be the race right here. How quickly and efficiently can Owens get around traffic now? Francis drops 3 car lengths behind him. Meanwhile, it's still 12 car lengths back to Lanigan. Up front, Jimmy Owens has a 3-wide battle in front of him in traffic, Rick.
Jimmy Owens, this may be the biggest decision of his life. Where do I go to get through this lap traffic? Francis stays right with him, hoping that he'll make the wrong choice and Steve Francis can get back in the lead. Owens steps to the outside of Dennis Erb Jr. That'll open up the door for Francis to go on the bottom, but Owens strong around Erb. Can't dispose of him, though, at the start-finish.
Dennis Erb Jr. still on a lead lap. So is Billy Drake. Out of turn number 2. It's Francis 2 to 3 car lengths behind Owens. Owens still trying to get around Erb. He will this time. He'll cut down in front of him. Good move by Owens. Here they come into turn 4, Rick. 9 laps to go to decide the World 100.
And Jimmy Owens has got a lap car between him and Steve Francis. So Owens now working on Billy Drake in turn number 2. Francis will hear the roar of the Cornet engine of Darrell Lanigan shortly as Lanigan's starting to close the gap. Owens to the bottom trying to dispose of Rick Eckert. Steve Francis keeps him within his sights, but running out of time, James. We now have 8 laps to go.
Jimmy Owens trying to join it. Nice move on Eckert. He gets around Marlar down the back straightaway. It's clear track for Jimmy Owens with 8 to go, Rick.
This is Jimmy Owens' race to win or race to lose now. It's all in his control. He did what he needed to, got through the lap traffic, put those cars between himself and Steve Francis. Owens now needs to ride this thing out, and he'll pick up the biggest win of his career.
Down the back straightaway, 7 to go. Francis is 2nd, Lanigan is 3rd. Wayne Chin is 4th. Here comes Jeep Van Wormer down the back straightaway, he's 5th. 6th runs Bloomquist. 7th is Babb. 8th is Wallace. 9th is Moran. 10th runs Randy Cordy.
So next time by, it'll be 5 to go for Jimmy Owens. He'll look at the rear deck lid of Chris Smokey Madden as he works down the back chute into 3. Steve Francis may have used up the Hoosiers as he is losing touch with the leader Owens. He gets the 5 to go signal, James. Jimmy Owens on his way to a $40,000 payday if he can stay there.
Jimmy Owens out of turn 2 down the back straightaway behind another Team Zero member, Chris Madden. Then it's Jason Fager on the outside. Then it's Francis. He's solidly in 2nd right now. We go back about 10 car lengths to Lanigan. Owens brings it off of 4. 4 to go into turn 1. Jimmy Owens, the Newport, Tennessee driver in that Mike Reese car. That car is owned out of Tazewell, Tennessee. It's a Corvette-powered GAN Appraisals Reese Monuments entry. He'll close on Smokey Madden in turn 3. As Owens out of turn 4, Rick Eshelman, give him 3 to go.
3 laps to go for Jimmy Owens. He'll take that number 20 Reese Monument entry into turn number 2, work the inside of Chris Smoky Madden, and now almost a full straightaway back to second place, Steve Francis. Owens working through turns 3 and 4, 2 left to go, signal white flag the next time.
2 to go, Jimmy Owens coming out of turn number 4. Or rather, he's down the back straightaway now. He will get Rick Foley, will wave the white flag to Newport, Tennessee driver Jimmy Owens. The 35-year-old driver heads into turn number 1. 1 lap to go to Eldora Glory. Steve Francis is second. Lanigan is third. Wayne Chen an impressive 4th. 5th, Jeep Van Warmer. Jimmy Owens will slide into turn 3. He will try to put a lap on Randy Corda here at the end. Jimmy Owens will come out of turn 4, and he wins the 37th annual World 100. Jimmy Owens. Steve Francis is second at 15. Third will be Darrell Lanigan at 29.
We talked yesterday, and you said Eldora does not owe me one. When you were asked that question, you wanted to get this one. You got it when we had that media luncheon, and I'll tell you what, you backed up every bit of statement you made. What does it feel like to be here at Eldora Speedway on victory stage for the biggest race in dirt late model racing?
I tell you what, it's just phenomenal. You know, the fans, the crowds, the crew, and everybody. It's just a wonderful feeling to win in front of all these people.
Well, Steve Francis got the lead for a while. You were chasing him down. All of a sudden, here comes Jimmy Owens. You caught him. You went by him. You left him in lap traffic. The car came in perfect at the right time. You made all the right moves here this weekend by qualifying the quickest, getting locked in. That made it a little easier, but you had to work for it. Once you got by him, there was no catching Jimmy Owens.
I know, you know, the car was just great all night, we done killed the night. But, you know, the car was awesome. You know, I can't thank, you know, Mike Reese and Gann Appraisals, VP Fuel, and all of our sponsors, Near Enough, and Scott for helping us out on the cars. And, you know, our crew, man, this is for them guys today.
Well, Jimmy, you're going to be able to tell a lot of drivers what the greatest feeling in the world is like as you are presented the famous World 100 Globe trophies. Raise it high and proud. Jimmy Owens, the winner of the World 100. A little bit heavy there, Jimmy, after working for 100 laps.
Thank you.
You are now the 9th different driver to visit Eldora Speedway's victory lane in the World 100. The big question is, can you repeat as a World 100 winner? This is so hard, and you've been so good this year. Can you keep that momentum going for another whole year here at Eldora Speedway? Because you've been so strong in 2007, 2008, right around the corner, September 5th and 6th. You got that on your racing schedule?
Yes, sir. You know, we'll be here. You know, hopefully we can repeat. You know, the car's been awesome all year, and if we can keep it that way, maybe we can bring it home.
Well, now another thing we need to do for you, Jimmy, is we have about 40,000 reasons why you would like to be here on this stage. And Mike Reese, where's Mike at? Mike Reese. Second Globe trophy going to Mike Reese from Reese Monument. Mike.
I can't believe we done it, buddy. I can't believe we done it.
Congratulations, Mike. Reese Monument on the side of this car. You've got to be awful proud of this young man.
I'm proud as can be. Everybody said he could do it, and we done it. We won the world.
And this Globe trophy belongs to you, sir. Congratulations on one heck of a run. You and Jimmy made a great team here this weekend. What does it mean to you to have a Globe trophy in your showcase?
It means a lot, but it means a lot more for our race team and all our good sponsors, Hoosier Tar and Jack Cornett Race Engines, George Gann Appraisals. I can't thank all their sponsors and all their friends and fans that support us this year. It's been great.
Well, if we could, we'd like to have both you gentlemen hold your Globe trophies up. Nobody else here at Eldora Speedway will have that luck this weekend. So Mike Reese from Reese Monument, the owner of this number 20, and Jimmy Owens, they have the world by the hand. To the winner, Jimmy Owens. Thank you, Chad. $40,000 going to Jimmy and his crew out of Newport, Tennessee. as our Miss Eldoras are in victory lane as well. And Jimmy Owens has just picked up the biggest win of his dirt late model racing career. He will join the list of drivers since 1971 to come up on this famed stage and pick up a World 100 win. Now the crew from Jimmy Owens number 20 making their way to the stage area. These guys worked awful hard to get this done. Come on up here, guys. Let's get in this celebration as well. The crew for Jimmy here this weekend at Eldora. We're all crowding the stage here with Jimmy Owens in his first ever World 100 victory.
You guys are gonna have to get something.
And they're gonna have to get a couple down in the front. No wide angle shots here, guys and girls. Let's crouch down in there and get right around Jimmy and the trophy. Smile pretty for the camera, guys. You are World 100 champions. That will conclude this 37th edition of the World 100. Once again, his first ever World 100. Let him hear one more time. The Newport Nightmare, Jimmy Owens.
Fourth, Jimmy Owens, your winner. Second, 15, Steve Francis. Third, car 29, Daryl Lanigan. Great run for the number 1, Wayne Shin. Fourth place. Fifth, 55, Keith Vanderwilmer. Sixth, car 18, Shannon Babb. 7, car 0, Scott Bloomquist. 8.
And that concludes the 37th Annual World 100. Congratulations to Jimmy Owens for taking home the victory. I'm Jeffrey Bland, and thanks for watching.
Jimmy's in the tower.